Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming to the Keene Democrats Barbecue, and thank you for coming to the launch of our 2021 Keene municipal elections. My name is Sean Filio, chair for the Keene Democrats, and again, thank you so much for coming out and supporting the local party. Local elections matter, and we know local elections matter because we can see in Concord the effect of local elections, because each House race was a local election, and it means that we need to be putting effort at a local level of empowering Democrats so that we make sure that we have great local policy that translates into great state policy. And it begins at the local level. Today we've got a great panel of speakers for you, who are going to speak briefly about the local elections that are coming up. And we're going to have first City Councilor Bobby Williams, and then we'll be hearing from our panel of speakers who are going to be running for our City Council elections coming up. So I'm going to pass it over to Bobby, who will talk about what's going on in the City Council, and they'll be hearing from our City Council candidates. So I'll hand it over to Bobby. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Hi everybody, my name is Bobby Williams. I am in fact a city councilor representing Ward 2, but today I'm wearing my Keene City Democrats hat. Yeah. I am the treasurer of the Keene City Democrats, and so as a treasurer I welcome you all to contribute generously to funding this event today and to funding the activities of the Keene City Democrats in the near future. We really do appreciate that support. I just want to say, as a city councilor and treasurer of the Keene Democrats, one of my goals is to build organizations, to make it so that we work stronger together and build capacity for us to make change on the local level. And that's really what we're doing here. We're building institutions, we're building the institution of the Keene City Democrats, and that's why I really appreciate everybody coming out here today. However, I am not running in this upcoming election. I don't have to run again for another 2 years, which makes me very happy. We do have a whole panel of candidates, many of which are running in this upcoming election. We're going to start with the city councilors. We're going to go through the ward city councilors, and then we've got some state race representatives and people from the House, and some people who serve us at the county level as well.
So we're going to try to keep it short, each one of us, right?
Going to try to keep it short, including me. I do want to put a shout out for Raleigh Ormerod, who couldn't be here. He represents, he's a Democrat representing Ward 1. He passes along his greetings, and he also put in a generous check, which I appreciate. Moving on to Ward 2, we're going to start with Mitch Greenwald. So Mitch.
Thank you all. Gee, I think back to 2 years ago, and actually through the magic of Facebook, every morning I get this pop-up picture. Where were you 2 years ago? Well, I was standing in front of a bunch of people, and I was really pouring my heart out to you all. In the end, there's one thing that I failed to do, in addition to not win. But I really didn't thank everyone as I should have. And honestly, I was just so broken up over the whole situation that I couldn't speak actually that last night. But I want to thank you all for everything you did, helping me campaign financially and voting for me. So a lot of lessons learned, and I absolutely survived the next 2 years. Here we are. My motto, anytime there's a committee meeting and staff members coming up, I always say less is more. So you won't hear a lot. But the short and long of why am I running, and I will likely say I can't imagine doing it again after this. It is a 4-year term. There's a lot of unfinished business in the city. There's a lot of projects that just got lost in the whole COVID 2 years. A lot of new councilors that don't have any past history, and I'm going to call myself not the old guy necessarily, but the historian, because I have some degree of knowledge of how did we get where we are and to move forward. So I would appreciate your support. It's 4 years, it's Ward 2. I will work hard for you all. We need some other candidates for other wards. I don't believe we have anyone for Ward 1 at this point. So if you know someone, as my friend Randy Filio told me way back when I first ran, oh, it's only 2 meetings a month. Hardly any time. Thank you all. Have a good afternoon.
All right, we're amateurs when it comes to audio, so please be forgiving. Andrew Madison is up next. Andrew is a city councilor representing Ward 3, and he'll be running in this upcoming election. So take it away, Andrew.
Thanks, Bobby. My name is Andrew Madison. I was appointed to the Keene City Council back in April to take over Mr. Clark's seat back then. So a little background on me. I'm an environmental scientist. I work for the state of New Hampshire, member of SEIU Local 1984. I've spent my entire career working in either public service or the nonprofit world in the environmental field. I spent a year as an AmeriCorps Vista out in Colorado working with rural communities and Native American communities, particularly with the Navajo Nation on water quality issues and drinking water quality issues. Spent 2 years with the National Park Service as a field biologist and also as a wildland firefighter. So I've been on the front lines of climate change. Since going to grad school in Indiana, I've been back here in New Hampshire. I've worked in the nonprofit sector, helping small rural water systems, and now I work for New Hampshire DES, responding to large-scale oil spills. Didn't think I'd be on the city council 2 years ago. There's a lot that has changed in the last 2 years, I think we can all agree. I'm running for city council because at heart, I'm an environmentalist, and I think we have a lot of sustainability goals that we need to see move forward. Right now, I'm working to move to limit single-use plastic waste in our city. Every year we go without limiting single-use plastic waste. It's a year of plastic waste. We are burdening our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so on. That we're burdening them with that waste. So we actually need to start taking serious steps towards it. It was addressed 10 years ago in our master plan, and we've made zero progress on it. So I'm looking to move forward on addressing our waste streams. I'm also looking to move forward on working with Councilor Williams to find ways to improve pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure so we can get more people off the road, more people not burning fossil fuels, and more people on their bikes and walking so we can have a healthier, better community with less carbon coming out. I mean, the walkability and bikeability of this town is what brought me here in the first place and what's kept me here. So
Thank you.
that's why I'm running, and I'd really appreciate all of your support. And I know I haven't met the bulk of the people here, so come over and say hi to me sometime. I'd love to talk to you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Andrew. I'm particularly happy to hear about the plastic waste initiative. I'm a co-signer on that, and we're really going to try to make something happen. So next we have Brian Lake. Brian Lake is a new face, and he's running for Ward 3. So let's hear from him.
Hey everybody. So just want to take a minute or two just to introduce myself, since again I'm a new face to everyone here. So I'm actually a second generation native to Keene. My dad was born here back in 1960. I was born here in 1990. So I've actually lived in Ward 3 for my whole life. Even went as far to get my Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry right here at Keene State. So you know, pretty invested in Keene in that sense. So I work right now at CNS Wholesale. I'm a senior analyst for a team called Procurement Decision Science. So we've got, is the mic not working? Yeah, good? Cool. So I've been at CNS for a while, and I'm a homeowner with my girlfriend up on Timberlane Drive. So we just bought that house last year. And I did run for the vacancy along with Andrew for that Ward 3 seat back earlier this year. So you guys might have seen me in front of the council back then. So I'll be doing the same now for Giacomo's vacancy for the other Ward 3 seat. So we'll both be running for those 2 open seats there. And I'm currently on the Energy and Climate Committee, where I'm doing some work there around electric vehicles and working on producing some guidelines around how we can work on the infrastructure here in Keene to make that adoption of electric vehicles a little bit easier going forward, and making sure, especially like residential units, have the necessary equipment to be able to actually invest in electric vehicles. So that's really why I'm invested in Keene, and Keene's really important to me, and that's why I'm running. It'd be great to have your support in the fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Randy, you're up next. Very excited to see Brian out here because I'm very excited to see new candidates. We're always looking for new candidates or people we can support. Brian has stepped up, and we really appreciate that. Right now, a man who needs no introduction, Randy Filio.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Randy Filio. Been on the Keene City Council since 1991. I've been flipping burgers since then. That's why they keep re-electing me, because nobody else will volunteer for the position. My record speaks for itself. If anybody questions anything that I've done or have to say, I always say, don't judge a person by what they say, judge a person by what they've done. I've got a city council a record of 24 years, and I'm proud to say if anybody has any questions of what I've said or voted on, the record's there to stand for itself. I think the big thing this year, though, this election year for city council is kind of one of those off years where there's not a lot of other heated elections going on. So the community has a tendency to have an election percentage of about 9, 10, 11%. So that means 90% are going to stay home. Your job is not just to vote for those of us. Your job is to make sure you have your friends, your friends' friends, your friends' friends' friends vote. If you don't vote, we don't win. That's right. Okay? So that's what it's really all about. We saw that in the State House this past year. If you don't vote, all we have left is excuses. Yep. No excuses this year. Get out and vote. Yeah. Thank you, get another burger.
All right, thanks, Randy. Next we have Amy Hathaway. Amy is not herself running, but she's here standing in for a candidate who unfortunately could not be here today, Jody Newell.
Hey y'all, yeah, you won't catch me running for office. I have other roles in this work. But Jody sends her regrets. She's walking the talk and working at her family's homeless shelter in Massachusetts, which she does every weekend, and then she's home during the week. So sends her apologies. So I'm just gonna read what she sent to me. Hi, I'm so sorry I couldn't be here with you, so I'm thankful to Amy for speaking for me. So let me introduce myself. I'm a proud Keene resident. Purchased my first home here on Leverett Street, and having searched all over New England to find a welcoming community to put down solid roots for my 2 boys and I. I couldn't find then, and can't imagine now, a better choice I could have made. I come from a long line of volunteers, helping those in need and stepping up in whatever ways possible to improve my community. The shelter I'm working at right now was founded by my grandmother, a preacher's wife who saw a need and met it. 35 years later, we provide housing and resources for 23 families at any given time. But this is admittedly a Band-Aid for deeper concerns, and in trying to address those, I've accepted every opportunity I can to advocate for positive changes, working my way up to leadership positions in both local and national advocacy organizations, all while furthering my own education here at Keene State College and maintaining my most important job, raising and providing a home for my 2 amazing boys. And now I'd be honored to use the skills I've gained to serve the community I love in the Keene City Council. If we haven't met yet, reach out. And I hope to earn your vote in the primary on October 5 and the general in November 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, and thanks to Jody wherever you are. She's a really another new exciting face that I'm very happy that we as the Keene Democrats have been able to find and support. We've got a couple. She's running for an at-large seat on the city council. There's a couple other Democratic city councilors running for that. There's five positions, and we also have Kate Bosley, who is running for that, and Bettina Chadbourne. Neither of them could be here today, unfortunately. Up next, that's closing out the city council. We have Emma Greenberg on behalf of Senator Hassan. Take it away.
everybody. It's so nice to be here. My name's Emma. I'm Senator Hassan's political assistant for her re-election campaign. I've seen some of you before on Zoom. I was an organizer for Cheshire County last cycle in the coordinated campaign. So I'm so happy to be back and here with person with all of you today. The senator is unable to be here today, but she asked me to read a letter on her behalf. Dear Keene Democrats, I regret that I cannot be with you today for your barbecue, but I wanted to take a moment to express my appreciation for your efforts to elect Democrats up and down the ballot and share the work that I'm doing in the Senate to make progress for Granite State families. I'm honored to serve the people of New Hampshire in the United States Senate and to work hard to deliver on the priorities that Granite Staters tell me are critical to them. The infrastructure bill Senator Shaheen and I helped negotiate will expand high-speed internet access in rural areas, repair roads and bridges, and help us address the climate crisis by making historic investments in clean energy. With the budget resolution currently being worked on in the Senate, I am pushing for long overdue solutions to challenges that Granite Staters face, including providing affordable care and early education for children, as well as affordable home-based care for seniors and disabled individuals. We also need to finally ensure that our workforce has access to paid family and medical leave. Even as we are making progress for Granite Staters in Washington, I have been alarmed by recent developments in Concord. I'm deeply concerned by the partisan budget passed by the Republican legislature and signed by the governor that will take away reproductive rights and hurt public schools. With its voucher plan, limits on free speech, and abortion ban, the budget will devastate Granite State families and make clear just how critical it is for Democrats to take back the State House and bring much-needed change to Concord. It will take all of us to undo the damage that we have seen during the past legislative session. That is why we newly launched coordinated campaign Organized New Hampshire is starting earlier than ever before in our party's history to elect Democrats up and down the ballot. Organized NH will be partnering with county parties and local leaders to not only help in my re-election, but also to elect Democrat candidates to turn the State House blue. The work that you all do, knocking on doors, making calls, supporting local candidates, and organizing your communities all year round is crucial to that effort. Keene Democrats, I know that you are committed to building brighter futures for families and a more robust democracy. Congratulations on a successful barbecue, and thank you for your continued hard work. With every good wish, Senator Maggie Hassan. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Emma, for speaking on behalf of the senator. I think we all know how important it is that the Democrats hold on to that seat next year. And so part of making that happen is making sure that a lot of blue votes come out of Keene for a Democratic senator. Up next we have Mohammed Saleh, who is our chair of the Cheshire County Democrats. So.
Thank you, Bobby, and thank you for everyone who has showed up today. This is very inspiring to see. There's so much energy among the Democrats, and this is absolutely the right time to be energized and get involved. And part of our activism is winning election, and we'll have an upcoming city council election where I see some signs that we have great candidates. So I hope you will volunteer and support those candidates. But the larger picture is we have to let the Republicans know that their policies are outrageous and people are outraged. And the way to send the message is to have convincing win in elections. That's what people pay attention to. And one opportunity that's coming up is the Cheshire 9th district, where we had an empty seat from the passing of our very loving leader, Dudley. He passed away, and a very qualified candidate, inspiring candidate, Andrew Manuel, is running for that seat. And some of us are already volunteering, and I would like to see more of you to get involved. It is a distance, so feel free to do phone banking. It's not as effective, but numbers eventually add up. So that is happening Wednesdays, 5 to 7, and canvassing is Saturdays, 10 to 12. And if you want to find the link to do to sign up via Mobilize, they are posted on our Facebook. Just search for the Cheshire County Democrats. The links are there. And also, we also post the Kathy O'Donnell's forum that has been going on for a long time. So I am absolutely thankful for the amount of support and dedication that I see. And we have to convert that dedication into get out the vote effort. So with that plug-in, I will keep it short. But thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Up next, we have our sheriff, Mr. Eli Rivera. There you go.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to get together with our friends here. I'm your sheriff. I've been your sheriff for 5 terms. Can you believe that? I'm going for 6. When I first ran, they didn't expect me to win. They actually eliminated the position because they felt a Democrat could not win the sheriff's office. And here I am going for my 6th term next year. So if you get out to vote, we can make things happen. A lot of things going on with our office, with police reform, and I'm trying to stay on top of it, making sure that we listen to our contingency and what the community wants, and try to make those changes that will make us more trustworthy with the community that we serve. It's a lot of work, not easy, but we will get there. And I have to throw a little pitch here, a little bias today. You gotta vote for Brian Lake. Brian Lake. And I tell you why, I know that kid since he was born. He's my nephew, his mom and dad, his dad is my wife's brother and sister. So I know him for a while, good character, good, very committed to serving the community, and like he said, he's been here a long time, so I know what Keene's all about. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Sheriff. Up next, we have Jay Kahn, who is our state senator. And now we're going to get into our representatives from the State House, and starting with our Senator Kahn.
All right. Okay. Good hamburgers. We got to recognize how bad this legislature and this governor are.
Yes.
There is no middle ground in what we're facing in the legislature or from the governor. This is a hard swing to the right, and it's a national agenda that's being imposed on this state. And we can run through all those issues, divisive concepts, private and religious school funding, abortions without any exceptions, an issue that doesn't even exist in this state without exceptional fetal abnormalities, and we just had to take that hard right turn, and the governor went right with it. There is no compromise with Democrats in this legislature. It is a compromise with right-wing conservative movements around our country, and that's what we are fighting against. So I want to be in a Democratic-led majority Senate in this state. Yeah! And we've got to have a Democratic House in addition. And we can stop whatever happens in the governor's office, but I think we need a change there as well. So we're going to elect good Democrats up and down the ticket this time, and we're going to start, as we said, from the community on up. And that's where it is. There are no I's in team. Remember that. We have got to be a team of people that recognize the leadership that we can apply, the goals that we can achieve together, and that we work hard to elect Democrats every time we can. So I'm in. I'm all in. Let's find those things where the winning issues, let's find the themes, and let's drive them home, because we can't live with this kind of leadership in this state. It's going to send us down the tubes. as a state, make us undesirable for young people to move and to live in this state, and we have the issues on which we can run and we can win.
All right, up next we have Amanda Elizabeth Toll, who is not only our representative serving the Flotorial District, if I pronounce that right, Flotorial District of Keene, all of Keene, but she's also vice chair of the Keene City Democrats.
First and foremost, I want to begin by thanking the Keene Democrats. These 18 heart-centered activists have hit the ground running, organizing educational events, fundraisers, and laying the groundwork to elect our Democratic candidates. Let's give our Keene Democrats a round of applause. I couldn't be prouder to be part of such an inspiring team. In addition to my role as the Keene Dems Vice Chair, I am a New Hampshire State Representative. I was elected on a progressive feminist platform, and I campaigned on issues of child advocacy, domestic and sexual violence prevention, and reproductive justice. Since being elected, I have co-sponsored legislation to outlaw corporal punishment against children in state care, ban the LGBTQ panic defense, and encourage the teaching and celebration of critical women's labor history. I have advocated fiercely for the rights of students, immigrants, domestic and sexual violence survivors, as well as reproductive justice, showing up to and testifying at as many hearings as I can. Additionally, I serve on both the New Hampshire Young Democrat Caucus Executive Board and the New Hampshire Progressive Legislative Caucus Board. It's the first time, to my knowledge, that Keene has had somebody on the Progressive Legislative Caucus leadership team. So I'm really grateful because I see us as a progressive city, and I'm so happy to be serving in that capacity. I continue to engage in progressive social movements and know that when we bring movement politics energy to electoral politics, we can build community, win elections, and deliver on public policy that improves the quality of life for Granite Staters. With your support, I look forward to continuing our work together and serving this community as your state representative. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Amanda. And well, we all know what a great organizer Amanda is, and really, she's the reason a lot of us are here today, and I for one appreciate it. Next up, we have Joe Shapiro, who is also in the Keene Flotorial District.
Hello, everybody. I'm the other at-large representative for the city of Keene, Amanda, along with Amanda. First of all, I'd just like to say that I'm in total agreement with Jay's assessment of just how bad things are. It's not just that Republicans won the House and won the Senate and already had the governorship, but these are extremists. These are people who refuse to wear masks, refuse to acknowledge COVID, refuse to acknowledge that the Speaker of the House and their party died of COVID. This is really a party of extremists at this point. And I think we have to, one of the things we have to do to make our case is to make it known to Republicans who voted for these people, not knowing just how extreme their agenda was. So I don't think I have to convince any of you of how difficult things are for Democrats in the legislature, how difficult things are for democratic values and principles in the state. But at the same time, we cannot succumb to resentment and bitterness. We have to continue to govern while under the circumstances that we're in. So in my position on Health, Human Services, and Elderly Affairs Committee, while I might like to have a universal government-sponsored healthcare system, That's not happening right now. So my job is to incrementally improve access to healthcare and improve the environment for public health. So towards that end, we will be bringing back House Bill 103, which is a bill to give dental benefits to adult Medicaid recipients. I really think that has a chance of passing. We have a work committee that's happening this coming week to work on that bill. I think it might be a compromise. I think it might be a compromise that I don't fully agree with, but nevertheless will get us over the line. So I'm very hopeful about that. I also plan to introduce a bill that would make pregnant immigrants and immigrant children eligible for Medicaid without having to withstand a 5-year waiting period. That is an option that states have, and of course, along with dental benefits and this option for Medicaid for immigrants, we are the only state in the Northeast that doesn't do these things. So these may be small things. There are a lot of big things we have to tackle, but these may be small things. But I'm going to work and do everything I can to make them happen. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Next up, we have Larry Welkowitz, who is, I don't know what Cheshire district it is, but it's Keene Ward 1. That's who he represents. So if you live in Keene Ward 1, this is your guy.
Great. Larry! Thanks. Yes, as Joe and Jay have said, it's been a tough year in the State House. It's been a tough year. You know, you sit there and you vote, and you vote, you vote, and you lose, and you lose. We got to stop losing. But I want to say that I'm very grateful. I see the faces: Amanda, Jay, Joe, Sparky. You know, it's just a great group of people, and we support each other. And like Joe says, incrementally, we just try and keep at it. I bring you news from Keene State College. I'm also the chair of the psychology department. So the state rep thing I just do in my copious free time. And you know, we're a much lighter school now. You know, the governor cut $14 million out of our budget. We just laid off a third of our faculty. These are people with tenure, they're gone. You want to major in physics, you can't do it. I say, are you really a college if you can't major in physics? I don't know. I don't remember much physics, but I think you should at least be able to major in physics. So, you know, the governor just doesn't care about state education. My students have the highest level of college debt in the country. New Hampshire ranks 50th in support of higher education. We have to do, yeah, we got to do something about that. I didn't want to be so dark, but let me just, one other thing that I'm a little dark about, and that's the planet. I'm so glad to hear Andrew talking about single-use plastics. My daughter, who grew up in the Keene area, she's a tough kid. She grew up on a farm in Roxbury. She called me the other day crying because things were falling out of the sky where she lives in southwest Colorado, you know, dust and ash from the fires in California. And she was crying, and she said, "Dad, the planet's on fire," you know. Yeah. So we have a governor who has reversed 100 different rules and regulations for the environment just in the past couple of years. We got to get this guy the hell out of that. Yeah. And like Jay said, top down, man, we got to vote, and people have to run. I never thought I'd be a state rep. I was in a running group, and David came up to me and said, "I can't be the state rep anymore. Can you run for my spot?" These windows open up. I'm so glad Jody's on board. So if you get a chance, really think about running. We got to take back power, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. And I absolutely echo, you know, what he said about needing candidates. I didn't think I could be a city councilor. Never occurred to me until I ran. So I know, you know, there's a lot of people in this audience who can run too, and I'd love to have that opportunity to vote for you. Just to make sure, are there any state reps out there who I've missed? Because otherwise we're going to move on to our county positions. I think we're good. Okay. Okay, Terry Clark is next. Before we get to Terry Clark, I want to make 2 plugs. One is for the spaghetti dinner, the Cheshire Democrat Spaghetti Dinner on September 18th. You can find out more about it on Facebook. We, very much appreciate the support for that. The other is for Elm City Compost over there. We're really happy about what they're doing. They're taking away our compost. It's going to turn into nice, nutritious dirt, and I just love what they're doing in this region. So, without further ado, Terry Clark.
Wow. It's really nice to be talking to a bunch of Democrats on Labor Day again. We haven't done it for a few years. And I recall we used to do this all the time over at Otterbrook Dam. We'd have games and we'd have swimming and people would do speeches. Well, Pat Russell would make fun of people she referred to as windbaggers if they spoke more than 2 or 3 minutes. But in any case, we're the party that best exemplifies the values of working people, and it's only right that we celebrate Labor Day and that we tell people that we value the labor that's out there. There's something that's really interesting that's happening right now. People across the country are refusing to come back to low-wage jobs. You might notice that when you go to your restaurant. A light bulb must have just clicked onto them. They just decided that no, we're not going to go back and work at jobs.
So you want to go live stream from your GoPro? Yeah, why not?
We can't afford housing. We can't afford food and clothing and daycare for our kids. We just can't do this anymore. And as Democrats, we have to support these people because we want them to vote. We want them to continue to vote for Democrats. We want to accomplish all of those lofty goals that you've heard about in the last several speakers. Then we need to go out there and support these people and say to businesses, hey, you know what? I'll pay that extra 50 cents for the burger, because it's really important that people start making more money. You want to solve a lot of the problems in the world? Pay people more money, all right? And having said that, I think I'll have myself another burger.
Thank you, Terry. Just a reminder, Terry is our county commissioner representing the Keene area. One final one, that's Chuck Weed. I'm sure we'll go for Chuck Weed. So, take it away, our county treasurer.
Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. Not running for office, thank goodness. But I would like to say that I appreciated being a representative from Keene for about 20 years. I was elected first in 2000 as an at-large candidate, and I served 7 terms in Concord before I got smart enough to realize that the real fun of public service was at the more local level and at the county level. And I was county commissioner for 6 years, from 2014 to 2020. I'm winding down. I'm the county treasurer. I think our finances are just great, and I think it has to do with a lot to do with the generosity of my colleagues and constituents around me. I think you're fantastic. But I would like to just leave a little bit of advice for Cheshire County Democrats and Keene Democrats. My colleagues in Concord used to say, Chuck, how can you support gun regulation? How can you support an income tax? How can you support death with dignity, or choosing the time and place of your own death? And I said, I don't talk directly with the people of Keene, but I have this great feeling that if I didn't support that kind of thing, that they would not continue to re-elect me. And I guess that's what I'd like to have you do, and that is to become more vocal advocates after the cult has gone. And I refer to the Republican Party as the cult every time I get a chance now. So after the cult is gone and we come back to reason, be stronger advocates. Before bills have to be filed by your legislators, give them feedback. Give them cover for the kinds of progressive things you want them to do. That is really important. Anyway, I want to say again, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to represent you. I've really loved winding down my academic career by serving in the public service. New Hampshire is a great state, and thank goodness we have the city of Keene to pull those Democrats in the right direction. We're going to have to really work on that, and more power to you. Be vocal and plan ahead so that you can make sure that we have the progressive views we need in Concord, and best of luck to all of you.
Thank you, Chuck, and thank you to all of the representatives and candidates we've had here today. I think we're in good shape with these people representing us. Mohammed just wanted a couple more reminders about this spaghetti dinner on September 18th for the Cheshire Democrats. In honor of COVID, it will be a Zoom meeting. Dean Obadilla is the keynote speaker, and Senators Hassan and Shaheen will both be there. So I hope you can be there too. In the meantime, enjoy the food. Don't be shy with the donation box. And thank you everyone for being here.
Bobby, I brought some horseshoes over. I'll take somebody on and give him a horseshoe.